Sure thing. Hey, everybody. Today we're taking off from Daniel K. Inouye International Airport in beautiful Honolulu, heading to Kona International Airport on the stunning Big Island of Hawaii. We'll be making our journey down to Kona in the Citation Longitude.
Thank you, co-pilot. Thank you
You're,
very much. I'm sorry I interrupted her. Thank you, co-pilot.
you're welcome. No worries at all.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to do this in a much higher resolution so that you can see this aircraft and everything that I'm going to be teaching you in a very, very clear way, either on your phone, tablet, iPad, or a 4K television. Hopefully it's going to work out much, much better than the first video. And I've got a co-pilot here to help me out whenever I need that assistance. So, as you may remember, in order to turn on the airplane, we're going to be turning on both batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also going to turn on the standby power, which gives electricity to our backup artificial horizon. And while those things line up,
Yep.
we're going to turn on the passenger seat belts and the passenger safety sign. And we're going to go ahead and arm the emergency light. And they're armed, very good. And as many of you may know, this is the latest version of Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And we're going to see if it functions better than it did just about 4 or 5 days ago when we flew this jet up to Honolulu from Kona. So, what we're going to do, number one, let's see if they fixed the METAR in the Garmin G5000 suite. And remember, in order to do that, we go over here to our weight in fuel. Let's dial this down just a bit.
TAWS system test. Okay.
All right, that's just a little
Mm-hmm.
computerized voice that simply says that the terrain avoidance system is working. All right, let's dial it down just a little bit. There we go. That looks a little better. All right, weight and fuel. And this is where you might be able to utilize Copilot. All right. 8 passengers, got on there. Cargo is 0 pounds, that's fine. And the fuel on board, we're simply going to press FOB sync. That's how much fuel we have in the jet. And landing, those numbers are going to remain as they are. We're not there. We're not quite ready to set landing. The landing weight and fuel quite yet, but we do have the reserves in at 250 gallons, which would give us a whole time of about 30 minutes, just in case we were going to be put into a holding pattern. So with that said, we're going to click on Next. And now we can add the origin. So the origin for Honolulu International is Papa Hotel, November Lima. There we go. Enter. And we're going to select runway. And if we look out at the window here, the windscreen, look at that windsock. That windsock is practically coming right down runway 04 right. So we're going to be utilizing that right there before we even look at the METAR, which is our meteorological aerodrome report, which will give us the barometric pressure and the wind component, which is the wind direction and the wind velocity, along with our temperature and dew point. But that windsock, that tells me that when that runway 04 right is perfect. So we're going to utilize 04 right. And the destination, just as she said, is going to be Kona, which is Papa Hotel, Kilo, Oscar. There we go. And even though it says Ellison, if you look to the right a little bit, as you can see, this Kona International, which is what we want. Okay. And then you hit enter. As you can see, the FMS, with regard to the nav source up here on the PFD, is pointing straight at PHKO, which is what we want. But we're gonna assign a runway, and I do not know what the current weather is in Kona, but let's find that out. And
Hey again,
so
Brandon. I'm here.
So thank you. Could you please tell us what the weather is down in Kona?
Right now in Cannon, Michigan, it's
No,
cloudy.
not Cannon, Michigan. Not even close to that place. Nope, I'm looking for what is the meteorological data for the following airport: Papa Hotel Kilo Oscar.
The latest MEDAR for Papa Hotel Kilo Romeo indicates winds from 200 degrees.
Nope, we didn't say that. We said Papa Hotel Kilo Oscar.
Right, KGRR.
No. Papa Hotel Kilo Oscar.
The latest MEDAR for Papa Hotel Kilo Romeo indicates winds from 200 degrees at 11 knots. 10 miles visibility. Haze. Scattered clouds at 2,200 feet. Broken clouds at 4,000 feet. Overcast at 5,000 feet. Dew point 21 degrees Celsius and altimeter at 30.08 NHG.
Well, I think it got it wrong just a little bit. It thinks that we're doing PHKR. No, it isn't. I just pulled it up on a separate device, and the winds down there are out of 330 at 11. 10 miles visibility, haze, 2,200 feet, broken at 4,000, overcast 5. Temperature is 24.21. Okay, with a 3008. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. Let's just quickly look at the METAR for Honolulu, and the altimeter currently is 30.22. Let's do that. 3022. There we go. That looks that's far more like it. 3022 on the standby, ADI, and on the FOs, PFD 3022. Very good. Okay. Oh, battery discharge. And if you remember in the previous video, how do we prevent that from happening? Turning on the APU. And the APU should be coming up. There we go, 25%. And let's look at what I do is I also utilize Flight Aware on my phone, which is a very, very good source for looking up weather. And it's a very good way of just double checking to make sure that Microsoft web server is giving us the correct um, weather here. And is it? It is not giving us the right weather. Not even close. Winds are 2005, so we will be using runway 17 without a question. All right. So we're gonna come back here, and because with what Microsoft is telling us, well, that just simply is not the case, is it? Got that very, very wrong. So what we're gonna do, let's let's do this. Let's leave on. We'll leave the live weather up and running for now because my experience is the weather that is simulated is different from the weather that is reported, even though it's all coming out of MSFS 2024. And we're just going to stick with the weather that is realistically being reported by FlightAware. And again, that's 205, 10 statute miles visibility, 6,000 overcast, 26, temperature 2.19, and again, pressure 30.10. Okay, so we're going to utilize runway 17, and we're going to hit procedure, approach, and ILS 17 is already there. Perfect. And we're simply going to load that. Oh, before we do, we'll do minimums. And the minimums for that, let's quickly look up what the minimums are for PHKO. Very quickly. If we can get a map, it'd be wonderful. ILS 17, very good. And what are we looking at here with regard to minimums? Localizers. Okay. Let's just do radio altimeter, and we'll do 400 feet as our minimums for that runway. And we'll hit load, and yep, we hit OK. Very good. That all looks great. Very good. All right, next. Origin, Honolulu, runway 04 right, weather. Let's see what the METAR is for Honolulu, just for the heck of it. Let's see here. Let's compare that to. I'm gonna compare that to what FlightAware has to say on their app. Let's look at what they have to say. And let's look at the METAR for that. Alright, METAR, let's compare. Let's see who's right, who's wrong real quick. Winds are 06 or 16. Okay. That's pretty close. 10 statute miles? Yep. Few clouds at 2,500? Yep. Temperature 26, 2.17. Wow, it actually got it right this time. Boy, the update must have fixed that little bug. That's good. That's very, very good. 3015. So we got dialed in. 3022 is what FlightAware was originally saying. So we'll go with 3015 on that Barrow 3015. All right. Very good. With an old timer like me who used to do this stuff for real, we just like to double check, triple check everything, especially if you don't have a an FO in the right seat to help you out in double checking things. Okay, back here to the GTC. All right. We're going to utilize METAR, and we're also going to utilize the temperature here, 26 degrees. Runway, and that is good. Now, look at that. Wonderful. It is now also giving us a runway gradient as well, which is fantastic. We're going to set the runway heading to 044 on the autopilot up here. So 04 is just 44 degrees. Why do we do that? In case we have a problem after rotate, going down the runway, that is, after V1 or after. Having this set to 44 degrees, we'll be able to initialize the autopilot and also our altitude, and we're going to set that in for, let's slide down to Kona at 21,000 feet. Then we would simply be able to utilize this much easier so we could troubleshoot the problem if ATC were to give us proper vectors. And that would work out just fine. Alright. That is all correct. Takeoff configuration. Flaps 1. Let's look at one little thing right up here. Let's do flaps 2, just in case we need a little extra lift at a slightly slower speed. Anti-ISO systems are off, but that system will come on automatically, meaning the detection system will turn on manually, and you'll notice that as we taxi out to the runway. Thrust reversers are stowed, of course. Takeoff after 1, rolling takeoff. I'm going to say yes to that. Takeoff data. This gives us our V speeds. V1, 107. Rotate, 112. V2, 125. And our VFDO speed, flap retraction speed, 185. Going to accept those 4 speeds. They all pop into the on the PFD, on the speed to ape. There they are. Very, very good. And we're going to go with that. Don't worry about about them being those 4 yellow dots there. I should say yellow dotted lines being there. As soon as we start engines and set flaps to 2, then those fields will be populated. Okay, that's simply the way the G5000 avionics suite functions. All right, we're going to click on initialization, and we're just looking at the takeoff. Let's look very quickly. Let's look at this real quick, since we do now know that the update for the sim fixed a lot of things here for the G5000. Since we know that it is now capturing the METAR correctly, we can accept these numbers. Takeoff field length available is 8,980 feet. Required, given our current weight and our flaps being set for 2, 3,741. So it's going to be a pretty quick takeoff, and our headwind is coming at us, will be coming right at us, right off the nose, which is great. because we're going to have a crosswind from the right at only 2 knots, which is fantastic. And that is no problem whatsoever. And everything is good to go. Very, very good. All right, let's go ahead and make sure we've got all these systems here set. Very good. Yeah, that's all good. Very good. All right. And I'll be using this GTC on the left here. We'll be utilizing that in just a little bit. And 200 knots. Let's slow that down to 180. Says because we don't have the manual first. We don't have the space as we do in other airports because there is some terrain in the area. So on the right page, real quick, we're gonna set the right screen over to terrain. Traffic map. Terrain. It's supposed to go as terrain, and it is not. Well, that is a bug that it worked before, but now it isn't working. Interesting. Traffic, weather. Huh. Well, they screwed that up very, very well. All right. Let's just finish this up. Very good. And remember what I like to do and what we do in the real world. We leave the left GTC to flight plan just in case we need to change something very quickly. If ATC were to give us a shout out and say, hey, we need you to change the approach, or we need you to fly to a certain navigational fix or hold, we can do so immediately by just listening to them in real time and looking at them right here. And we would do that very easily. All right, let's look at any little messages here in white that are on the POD. Bus eyes closed. That's because it is automatically when I turn on the APU. Fuel boost is on the right, so it is the APU is simply drawing fuel from the right tank in the right wing. Parking brake is on, and shut down left and right, and no takeoff. That's simply, oh, of course not. Let's bring up our aircraft systems on the right, and we're going to go into temperature, making sure that it's set to comfy 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's bring our synoptics page, and let's look at the pre-flight. There's going to be a few squawks. That's what I thought. Parking brake, stabilizer trim. We can actually adjust the trim right now. So let's set it to 3.2. That's very, very good for our situation. Flaps, we'll get to those in just a second. Flight controls. The engines do need to be up and running for a full flight control check, but as you can see with the APU running, it gives us a little bit of hydraulic power, but not 100%. So let's start the engines here. Double check we've got everything set with the lights outside. Pulse recognition. Very, very good. And did they fix the HUD in this update? No, they did not. I cannot bring it down. That's a shame. The reason I like flying this aircraft the most as of now is because it is the most stable, and the systems work much more realistically than any other aircraft currently available for MSFS 2024. So as I said, let's go ahead and get the engines up and running. Okay. And remember the sequence. We lift the cover on the right engine. We open that up. And then we move that to run by pushing it. And then we hold on the right engine starter for only 1 second. This button will turn into what is known as a barber pole. And then as soon as it does, we let go, and the engine automatically starts up from there. Okay, so right engine start. And we can monitor the start up here. We have internal rotation N2. There is the light off on the ITT. And next to N1, we're just looking for the start, the word start to go away. Bingo. And that was a good start. Good light off. Very good. Alright, let's open up the left cover for the left engine. That to run. And hold on the left. There's a barber pole. Very good. And looking at that, here we go. There is the light off right there. Very good. Looking good. And just a brief note about engine start and we're in relation to the direction of the wind, especially if this is windy as it is today. The sim does not simulate this yet. I don't know if it ever will, but for those of you wondering, if you're doing this in real life, you if especially if you're in a jet, hopefully they would tell you this ahead of time. You always want them to push you away from the gate or push you away from the parking spot if the nose of the airplane, let me rephrase, you want them to push you back or have the airplane parked so that the nose is facing into the wind. And here's why. If you start the engines and your tail is facing into the wind, you can have a hot start because that wind can simply blow the start of exhaust right back up into your tailpipe, so to speak. And what that'll do is that can cause a hot start, and the engine can malfunction, and it can be very, very bad for the engine, and you will not be going anywhere. So, with that little real life lesson out of the way, let's have flaps to 2. And as you can see on the PFD, we've got the force, our V1, rotate, V2, VF. Good. Now we can also test our flight controls all the way up on the, let's do, aileron first, left, full right, neutral, all the way up on the right, elevators, all the way down. Good. And rudder, all the way to the left. Good. All the way to the right. Good. And back to neutral. Very, very good. All right. That looks like we're good to go. Let's turn off the parking brake. We shouldn't be rolling yet, are we? Rolling? Nope. Very good. Turn on our taxi lights. Okay. And bring up the bleed air. We can turn off the APU very quickly. There we go. APU's off. Bleed air. And the APU, that green line coming out of the APU, that'll shut off as soon as the APU comes offline. Okay, everything there looks good. Left pressure, right pressure source, heat exchange giving us a supply of 69 to keep us at 70 is very good. And fuel, it's fine. Only 80-pound discrepancy, that's fine. Left to right. And hydraulics are up and running very good. Electrical systems are up and running good. And back to, like I said, that doesn't work unfortunately. Let's leave it on traffic mode. Yeah, just leave it on weather mode for now. That's fine. All right. Let's got the taxi lights up and running. Double check. Very good. And parking brake is off. Very good. All right. Let's get out to the gate. I'm sorry, leave the parking stand. So used to talking airline jargon. Let's get out there onto the runway and take off. For some reason, the thrust reversers were deployed. Alright. And I'm not going to utilize air traffic. I simply want the that little chime you just heard. That was the anti-ice system basically telling us that the automated detection is on. Let's bump up a little bit. There we go. We can see a little better now. And here we are at the beginning of far right. Not a long taxi whatsoever. Very good. And let's get the lights configured where we need them to be. Red lights, left, those lights are on. And we'll turn those on as well as the anti-collision. Very good. And everything else is good. And our flight director is going to come on. And we'll be intercepting the FMS plan. And one more thing to do, arming the auto throttle. Bingo. Alright, let's get rolling here. And again, if we were using ATC in real life, or for those of you on the VASM, we'd say Citation 35463 Charlie Lima, departing runway 4 right, Honolulu traffic. And let's punch it. V1 rotate, there it is. Got off the ground in no time. Positive rate, gear up. Okay, little gusty. That's alright. Parking brake, they have yet to fix that. Okay. Yeah, we can get rid of that. Alright, turn right. Look at that beautiful view. That is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Gorgeous. Alright, let's increase it to 230 and get on our way here. Flaps up. Flaps 1 rather. Look at that beautiful view of downtown Honolulu. Just gorgeous. Flaps one. I'm sorry, flaps up. Very good. In comes the climb. Climb thrust. And looking good. Let's level her off at 190 degrees. There we go. 190. Set. And let's come down. And let's get going down there to Becky. Let's get down there and fly that to right. So we hit to right. Activate that. Turn on nav. Autopilot. And our flight level change mode. What I just did with nav, again, when I activate nav, that means that the autopilot is going to fly us on the predetermined route that we already programmed into the GTC, aka FMS. And by pushing the FLC, that is flight level change, what that does, that makes the airplane climb at a speed that we determined. So it's set to 224, should be 230. So the airplane is gonna, and look at that, already over 10,000 feet. That's amazing. We can now move our speed mode to FMS, and we can set it to VNAV and disengage the flight level change. And now it's going to be flying our speed as well as our climb rate and descent rate in accordance with the VTC, the GTC down here. Okay. So as you can see, we're still, even though we haven't reached our climb speed of 270 knots indicated airspeed, we're still making about 4,700 feet per minute, which is pretty amazing. And we're above 10,000 feet. We can go ahead and turn off our landing lights and our pulse lights and recognition, don't need those. Everything else is auto, and the collision lights on. The navigation and beacon light, those are automatically controlled by the Garmin G5000. In case you missed that in the previous episode, that setting is right over here. We'll utilize the right GTC. If you go to aircraft systems and you go to exterior lights, it's right there on the controls tab. Go to exterior lights, navigation on, beacon normal, pulse with TKS-TARA. So that's basically saying, yeah, they're on, those lights are on, and what it basically also means is they're automated, so you don't have to worry about turning them on or off. The Garmin G5000 avionics suite, that takes care of it for us. We can brighten them up just a little bit more. That looks good, 80%. Alright, 1,000 feet to go, and we're already leveling off at 21,000 feet. And we set takeoff thrust precisely 5 minutes and 25 seconds ago. Not bad if you ask me. Not bad at all. Alright, now, if you remember the golden rule with flying, and that is, always keep yourself 3 steps ahead of what you're doing. Alright, we're gonna be there, because always remember, you're gonna be there before you know it. Especially once we level off at our cruising speed of 320 knots indicated. And because of the wind, you can see what it's doing to the speed tape on the PFD. bouncing up and down just a little bit. And just very quickly, because this does come up quite a bit, and that is our thrust reverse. The one thing that separates this apart from even like the 737 MAX and the 777s and the airplanes that I usually fly is this right here. The auto power reserve. It's very, very important to go over that again. What that does is it gives you the proper amount of reverse thrust that it calculates for you to utilize. Meaning, let's look down at the throttles. On the forward side, you can't see it right now, but on the forward side of the throttles, you have the two thrust reverse handles, if you will. You can pull those all the way to thrust reverse. In other words, pull them all the way into full thrust reverse mode, and the thrust would not go above a certain percent of N1. Wouldn't do it. It'll, let's say, if you're coming in and you got, and if you do it on purpose, like I have, just to test it, and you touch down way late in the game, meaning you flare late on purpose, and you come in nice and shallow. If you land with only, what did I say, 5,000? I've actually tested it at 4,000 feet of runway remaining, and you give it full reverse, then it gives you a lot of reverse thrust. But if you make a good landing, in this case, in Kona, the landing, our runway is 11,000 feet long. If we land in the touchdown zone, it's only going to give reverse thrust about 40, somewhere between 41 and 45%. So not a lot, just enough to help you slow down. You do have to utilize the wheel brakes more, and and as an aviator, you simply begin to feel when you need to do that. And with this airplane, it's fantastic. That auto power reserve system works very, very well as long as you know when to brake with a proper amount of braking. Everything will work out just fine. So, with that being said, let's make sure that it's getting a little dark out there. We'll turn on the tail floodlights and the wing lights so everybody can see us. See if anybody can see us. How we look outside real quick. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. Let's get set up for this. Vecchi, we need to be, it wants us to be there 3,261 feet. Let's set the speed constraint to, let's see how close are we to Vecchi. Well, it's not how close we are, it's more how close is it to the approach. Let's do that no more than 170. No more than that. And remember, when you do this, always make sure under type, you want it to be set to at. And under units, you want it to be set to IAS, which is indicated airspeed, which is the number you see here on the PFD on the left. Currently reading 321. You want to make sure it's set to, again, at, and make sure under units it's set to indicated airspeed. Okay, so hit enter. And with this next fix, Egypt, 1,500. That's going to be awfully close. So let's do this real quick. Let's go ahead and load the speed bugs for landing. All on. And there they are. 137 and 125. Alright, that gives me a pretty good indicator as to where we need to put it right here. Let's put this at 145. Even though by then I should be manually flying the plane, but just in case. Alright, and then we'll be on the runway within just a 40, maybe 30 to 40 seconds after that, if that. Okay. And like always, we leave the flight plan pulled up on this one, because you are the pilot flying. Alright, that's a very good thing that they gave me that. Gave me that alert. We're going to set this to 1,500 feet, right up here. 1,500 feet. We need these to be in thousands of feet, increments of, very quickly, the little trick, if it's giving you increments of 100 feet, you use your mouse and you right click once, and then it gives it to you in, as you can see, 1,000 foot increments. If you want it to be in 1,000 foot increments, if you want it to be in 100 foot increments, you right click again, and it gives you 100 foot increments up or down. As we descend, the throttles are coming way back. Even more, even more, even more. Alright. Let's go ahead and the taxi light. The reason it is on, it's just it won't say on until the landing gear comes all the way down. How close are we to 10,000 feet now? Not quite. Let's just verify our METAR here. Double check it. And it is 3011. Alright. As soon as we get below 18,000, we'll set it to 30.11. Right about now is a good time to do that. And right over here, 3011. Alright. And we just want to make sure we can see everything a little closer now that we're closer to the airport. A little bumpy out there. You can see where the flight profile vector, that green arrow on the PFD. The reason is the nose of the plane. It's not the nose, but that's where the aircraft wants to go. Think of it. Always think of it in those terms. One of the videos that episodes I'm going to be putting together for you next will be on the C-17. And we look at that through the HUD, and that's just a great way to know and to ask yourself, okay, where does the aircraft want to go? In this case, given the wind direction, the wind velocity, and other factors that control where the aircraft wants to go. And that's always a good thing to look at. We're going to turn on the interior lights just a little bit. A little bit of that here. We don't want it to be overwhelming or anything. Yeah, a little bit more. We don't want it to be too bright. Let's see how that looks. Yes, that's better. We can see everything we need to see now. And the airplane is doing its best to keep it at 250. And I can tell you right now, it's going to need help. So we're going to go ahead and hit the air brakes. That'll help it very, very much. Okay, and brakes off. And those throttles should come back to idle. Make sure I've got that one light set up a little bit. Turn those on. Pulse lights. The only reason I'm turning on the pulse lights is due to the fact that Microsoft and Asobo, they have not made the landing lights visible on this jet. In other words, when you're in the flight deck up here and you're coming for a landing and you're saying, "Hey, I need to see my landing lights so I can see where the heck I'm going," those landing lights are not visible. Maybe the update fixed it. We're gonna find out together. But that is the number one reason why I turn those on, because if you don't go back up here for your benefits, if you do not turn on the pulse lights, yeah, the landing lights are not visible from the flight deck, nor are they visible from the outside view either. And it's getting dark pretty quick, isn't it? You can already see the stars. Look at that. Beautiful sight. Okay, it better be below 250. Let's see if it catches it. It's below 10,000 feet. You cannot be flying above 250. And let's dial that down one more. Couple more actually. And it's trying desperately to get down below 250. It's not doing a good job of keeping it below 250, is it? Not even close. Alright, we're going to go ahead and slow it down manually. So we're going to go to manual mode. And we're going to go to 190 on the speed. Idle it out. Idle. See how long it takes us to get down to 190. Let's look at what's the winds again? The winds are 260 at 5. Let's see if the airplane agrees with that. Let's see, we usually get it here. Let's see here. Oh, I was already there, sorry. Alright. Does it agree with in other words, does it agree with FlightAware? What the FlightAware said, wind direction 265, 250, 251. I'm gonna give it to it. That's pretty. Yeah, that's good. That's a that's pretty good. So thank you, Microsoft and Asobo, for fixing that. That was a major major bit of frustration. That that is excellent. That it gives us that information. Very very good. Thank you guys. I at least would greatly appreciate it. All right, here we go. We're gonna arm the approach mode. It's looking like we might want that ILS approach. And I'm just looking at the glide slope, making sure that we're going to be under it. This glide slope, if you look very closely, just to the left of the altitude tape, you'll see a white diamond coming up. Very slowly. We need to be a little slower than this. We need to be down to at least 170 at this point. And let's see. We can slow it down by giving it some air brake action there. Come on. And we're going to go ahead and slow her down to 150 because it's coming in awful fast. Flaps 1. That'll help us out a little bit. Not much though. Okay, speed brakes up. Come on, we need flaps 50. We need it now. I mean, 150 on the speed is what we need. Okay. Let's just say 140 on the speed. And I do believe we're going to be switching over to our nav source. Is going to go to localizer 1 here shortly. Especially as we go into the turn to line us up with the runway. How far are we from that? Just about 30 seconds or so. And let's do this a little quicker. We need 1800. We need a little more than that. There we go. That'll get us under the glide slope. There we go. That's what we want. We don't want to intercept the local light. You don't. The aircraft will not do that. In other words, if you intercept the glide slope first, it's not going to catch the localizer, and it just won't work. So we're going to go nav source, localizer 1. And for some odd reason, the APPR approach mode did not catch it. It's catching the localizer. Glide slope. Alright, we can shallow up the vertical speed here just a bit. We can take it to 1,000 a minute. Flaps 2. And we're going to set the heading bug directly over the direction of the runway. There we go. And good thing we're coming in on the on the ILS because we cannot see anything at this point. All right. Gear down, flaps full.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Yeah,
Landing gear.
I know.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
That's a big glitch in the system. Whenever you retract or extend the gear, the landing gear always comes on. There we go, intercepting the glide slope. And let's set our miss approach altitude to 4,000 per the chart. At least that's what our Jefferson tells us is our miss. Alright, what is the crosswind component here? '42. We have TA only, which means traffic advisory only. It's right there on the PFD. We do not have RA anymore. RA is what you fly with most of the time. Whoa, it's not having a easy time holding a localizer, is it? Huh. Interesting. The there it is. Yeah, it's coming in very unstable. I'm gonna go ahead and disengage the auto throttle.
Auto throttle.
And I'm gonna go ahead and disengage the autopilot.
Autopilot.
It just isn't
Minimize.
landing. It just isn't doing what I want it to. And it's a little unstable.
$200. 100. 50, 40, 30,
Whoa.
20. 10.
And that little gust of wind was not expected because it's only supposed to be 5 knots of it. Okay, why those come on, I don't know. That's very annoying. Okay, we no longer need thrust reverse. And flaps up. Flaps up all the way. Very good. Alright. Well, the landing could have gone a lot better, but given the circumstances, again, according to the METAR, that wind like that was not, wasn't supposed to be that way, was it? Turn off the pulse lights, and the anti-collision comes off. Everybody else, that's fine. Turn on the APU so it's ready for us. And off we go to the parking stand here. We can disengage flight director. No longer required. Let's see if they fix the ground support services, the ramp agents. I doubt if they did. Looks like they fixed the taxi light. I can see a little bit more. I can actually see a light out there. Let's see if they fix the landing lights real quick. They sure did. Thank you very much to Microsoft Sobo for fixing that. That was a big. That was a big. Not a big item, but with regard to aircraft in general, that was a big one on my list. So thank you for fixing it. So it seems like the big takeaways that I get out of the update is the avionics, the G5000 avionics suite, pulling the METAR data, and the METAR data is accurate. Although on landing here in Kona, it did not seem to be accurate. It's saying the winds were only 5 knots, and obviously it wasn't. It was gusting all over the place, which is why I had to counteract that crosswind when I should say crosswind plus gust when there wasn't any. At the very last minute, though, there was. So that was a bit disconcerting, but we got that knocked out and got it on the ground safely. You can see the highway in the distance here. It's a busy highway. And if you want to see another aircraft, how to fly that, seems like I said, I'm flying this aircraft for now, just to give everybody an in-depth look at the Garmin G5000 avionics suite, alongside a very well simulated freeware that comes with the sim, the Citation Longitude. But let's go ahead and turn on the parking brake. APU, double check APU is up and running on the Synoptics here. Double check that. It's giving us air and electricity. Very good. Alright. Engines. And we can turn on the floodlights, I guess. And those engines are going to go to off. There we go. All the way off. And there we go. Welcome to Kona. Let's go over here. Taxi lights, that should have been off earlier. My apologies. Emergency lights, leave those on because our passengers are still on board. Alright. And we can turn on the interior lights. For those of you that don't know how to do it, you can do that very easily. Come down here to controls. We go to cabin management, and we turn on all of our lights, entry, accent, vanity, and we put them all the way overhead as well, and we put them all the way up. Hopefully that is all the way up. Let's see how it looks from the seat here. Okay, let's get out of our seat. Oh, there's our FO. Let's get out of our seat here. Parking brake is set, right? Yeah, it's set. APU is running. Alright, let's go ahead and get out of here. Yeah, the lights are working very, very well. And let's go ahead and, it's a little jerky right there. I don't know why it's jerking my camera around a little bit. A little bit of a bug. There we go. Let's see if we can exit the airplane. And here we are. Welcome to Kona, everybody. Drop a comment in the comment section below if you want, and let me know what your thoughts are, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see more of, what aircraft you'd like to see next, and we'll cover it in a professional manner, and we'll do it by the book, just like we did with this aircraft. And we'll do it, and in order to keep you up to date on what we're doing, we're going to push out as many videos as we possibly can for you. So please do hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll see you very, very shortly. Thank you all for coming along with us. Take care out there and fly safe.